Hello, welcome to this week's edition of the Coaches Preview Show. Big showdown tonight between Independence and Centennial. The game will be held at Centennial. We're joined right now by the Lady Eagles and Lady Cougars coach Whitney Baird and Brad Simmons. How are you guys doing? Now, we were making fun of this off air that you are no longer rookies at this anymore. You both have been on the show, so we've got plenty to talk about, Coach Baird, right? So we can go back and forth on basketball, but welcome to the show again. Like I said, this is a big District 11 AAA matchup tonight between you two. The Centennial Lady Cougars sitting right now at 6-11, 1-8 in district play. Independence is at 6-14, 2-7. More importantly, let's talk about District 11 AAA standings. First place, Brentwood has taken over sole possession of first place. Dixon's got 2 losses, which a lot of people, I think we talked earlier, they will lose. I think Mr. Parisher's going to have to check on this, but I think we predicted that probably a 2-loss team could even win this district, outright. I still believe that. Coach Simmons, you guys played Brentwood earlier, 51-50 loss. I think that goes to show you're currently sitting right now in 8th place. I think that shows anybody can win any given night.
I completely agree. I think the parity is there. I mean, any team, like you said, can win on at any time. It's really an interesting year. That, like you said, any team. So,
Coach Baird, you're 2-7 right now. You're sitting in 7th place, and I think the important thing about tonight's matchup is 7th, 8th place, which you're both currently sitting. You would like to, if at all possible, avoid that 8-9 matchup game for the play-in game to get into that first round of the district, because the winner gets what? First place team, right? Well, we've already proven the fact that you can beat the first place team, but you would rather stay away from that game because that puts an extra game on you. Then you have to turn around, if I'm not mistaken, the way it's set up, and play the next night and potentially play that first round team. So this is a huge game. This could flip-flop. This could put you in the 8th or 7th seat. This could put you in the 8th seat. So talk about what you've seen thus far, Coach Baird, on the 11 AAA side of all the teams that you've faced up to this point.
This is my first year with them, and we're just working every day on getting better. And I think that we are slowly getting better, but it's just little things. We've got to do little things. Block out. We're getting easy shots in the paint. We've just got to finish them. And right now, we don't have a good percentage on finishing shots in the paint. And I think if we can work on that, then we might shock some people. And
you know how those small things add up during the game. This one particular possession where you could have closed out at the right, it didn't close out long and let the player by you or get a rebound, that can make a whole difference come down the stretch of things. You both have beaten Spring Hill. Centennial beat Spring Hill 53-27. Independence has beaten Spring Hill 76-37. So, I think it's destiny for Spring Hill to be in that last spot. So that's the good thing. If you do get in that 8-9 game, you play Spring Hill, then you have to turn around and play Brentwood. Now, if Brentwood holds on to this, and a lot of things can happen.
Oh, yeah.
Centennial trying to get back in that win column, lost in a row, 51-50 to Brentwood, lost to Summit this week, 57-49 in a highly contested game. Talk about the mentality of your team. We talked about this on the show, Tate and I did earlier this week. I think you're that one of those black horse wild card teams that nobody's going to – if you can get things figured out. We talked about this the last time you were on the show.
Right.
I can see things kind of coming into place.
Right.
Where's your team right now?
Yeah, the leadership's not where it needs to be right now, to be honest. I think defensively is where we've got to make it happen. Offensively, we're just not an offensive team, and so we've got to be able to do some things defensively to teams, to make us, be successful. But like you said, I feel like at any time we could beat any team in this district, which is it's fun. It's a lot of fun, being in that spot. So, it's interesting. Every team, we've got all different types of styles, and so you have to just be ready every game to and prepare based on the style of play that you're going to see. All kinds of different presses, all kinds of different things, So it's been a lot of fun.
Speaking of individual styles, defense being your best offense, getting turnovers, getting out into the into the open court, trying to create space, fast break opportunities.
Right.
You're probably the only real team that has that capability is not the right word. That's your strong suit.
Right.
Where you look at a Franklin, it's a half court screen you to death type team. Holly Harris is going to shoot it. We know that. Jillian King's going to try to get her points too. Right.
Right.
So where does Independence fall on the spectrum right now in your preparation for the Lady Eagles coming in tonight?
Yeah. Oh, you're asking me.
I'm
Yes,
asking you.
I got you. Yeah, they're a pressure team. They like to pressure, and they're a good three-point shooting team. So, we've got to be ready for both of those things. To me, are going to be a key for us because, like I said, they love to pressure the ball and get out and half court, full court press. But once again, the key to me is stopping the three-point barrage that hit us the first time we played them. So.
Okay, same question to you. You've seen Centennial play. You've gone through the league now. What would define you, as we said, his defense is his best offense. That's kind of his signature. They like to get out there and run. What would be a definition of your style? What would define the Lady Eagles?
I think we're still trying to find that.
Okay,
but
that's a fair question.
Defensively, I want us to become a really hard-nosed, man-to-man, up in the passing lanes team, and we work on that every day in practice. Our mental game is just not where it needs to be. I feel like when we get tired, especially in third, fourth quarter, we stop doing those things that we need to do in order to be successful, being that type of man-to-man team that I want to be. So, again, first year, I have to tell myself all the time, it's going to be a process. It doesn't happen like that. Right. So I'm just trying to, take deep breaths and appreciate the little things that we do right instead of focusing on the big picture.
And that's a good way to look at it. Now let's that leads me into a question.
Mm-hmm.
Both of you first-year coaches in this district with your teams right now. You're both 6 wins. You'd like to flip that around. So it's a building process. So take me through. I don't think people understand the emotional game that you as a coach and as an adult, you have to control and help push people in the right direction. It's not all about X's and O's. I mean, if you go in a 3, 4, 5 game skid, all of a sudden, even though as a coach we can beat these teams, we should beat these teams.
Right.
The emotional plays into it.
Yeah, and what she said, the mental aspect, we're in the exact same spot. I mean,
learning how to win.
Learning how to win,
compete.
right? Learning how to, but keep your composure. When times get difficult. And that's exactly what she was saying. And Whitney, I think we're all there. To be honest,
Mm-hmm.
we're dealing with teenagers. So being able to be calm and controlled. To me, that's a big piece of being a head coach with teenagers. I mean, you've got to show them how calmness. How do you respond in situations that when they get tough. So yes, that's a huge piece. Exactly right.
And it's hard to keep that positive mentality, especially in practice too, right? So we're getting beat. We're trying to get the ship righted, if you will. Mm-hmm. And when we get into practice, they're like, well, what's the use for getting beat? You got to constantly keep them up and build them up, sure. And it takes just as much time encouraging as it does the X's and O's piece, right? Mm-hmm. Now, if you could take that time spent on the encouraging piece and fully put it on X's and O's, and then we're getting somewhere, right? That's the utopia of coaching.
Yes.
But unfortunately, and I know that's you got to try to balance it.
That's right.
So. Let's look at some upcoming opponents. We're not going to look past tonight, but here's who Centennial has left. You still have Page left, Dixon left, Franklin, Spring Hill, and both Ravenwood and Brentwood. A lot of games. I mean, here we are. It's hard to believe that we're at this time of the year. You're looking at 6, 7 games left in this season to get yourself ready for the tournament do-or-die situation.
Right.
For the independent side, obviously tonight's game, and then Franklin, Summit, Dixon, Spring Hill, Brentwood. When do you, if you do, start running that numbers game and saying, okay, this is where we can finish, this is the best we can finish, this is more likely where we're going to finish, and this is going to be our opponent? Do we start looking at that down the road? I'm not saying we go to our kids and say that, but we start looking at those and start crunching those numbers.
Yeah, personally for me, I think we just got to take one game at a time right now.
Right. I would have bet that y'all would have given me that staple of a coach's.
Yeah, there you go.
And I know somewhere y'all got the list. Coach Freodden, he's crunched the numbers. Coach Jones.
Yeah.
We know what we're going to be. So I'm just kidding.
Yeah, no, but good point. I mean, I at this point, like I said, I'm not as concerned about who we play, in the end, as far as the district tournament. It's what can we do to get better, to get prepared, ready for that, when that happens. You know what I mean?
So
but that's a good question.
So that's a good question to answer that to both of them. What are some things that you feel like let's talk X's and O's now. What are some things? Okay, this is the list. This is the laundry list. This is what we're going to get better at.
Right.
What are some things that we want to get better at? Just individual things. I know you talk about pressure defense. I mean, obviously, maybe some. What are some mistakes that we're making that we need to fix on the pressure defensive side of things?
Just, I guess we need to work on our conditioning because by the third and fourth quarter, like I said, we're tired. We're not jumping to the ball. We're not getting in help side fast enough. Our head's not on a swivel. Offensively, finish the easy shots. I mean, I really think if we would finish easy shots, we would at least be competing in some of these games instead of 20. When you look at the box score, we lose by 20, 30 points. Brentwood, we were up 31-30 in the third quarter against them. And, if you're not at the game, you don't know that.
Right.
But it's just, again, mental. 2-3 bad things happen, and, their mind just and
Adversity, man.
yeah.
Just face it. Compete
Right.
it.
Yeah. I'd say take better shots, better decisions on shots, but the biggest thing is we got to take care of the ball. So
Well,
take care of the ball.
let's talk about who's playing well for you right now. Start with you, the visiting team. Who's somebody we want to talk about spotlight right now? Who's playing well?
They're all playing well in spurts and spots.
Okay.
And, that's the thing is consistency. That's something that I've talked about every day in practice and at halftime of games. I'll have 3 girls playing awesome, and then the next quarter you don't see them. And then I'll have 2 girls step up. And right now it's more of a team thing.
Okay.
I need all 5 to be there and present and consistent at the same time. And that's what we're preaching. It's team ball. It takes more than 1 or 2 people. And, I don't really want to call anybody's name out because we don't really have a standout right now.
Okay.
And every game, it's somebody different. So, it's a team effort. And until we realize that, it's, we're going to be where we're at.
Coach?
Yeah, I'd say pretty obvious. Malia Robertson, on the offensive end, and Chantel on the defensive end. Those have kind of been standing out a little
And I don't
bit,
think
so.
that's any surprise. I think
Right.
we talked about that earlier. We know.
Right.
If we can get those 2 clicking at the same time,
Right.
get your post play, defensively, I'm sorry to interrupt you, but
No, you're
defensively, I keep thinking back of how fun it is to watch when Centennial girls are defensively on and
Right.
getting after it because y'all can really, really disrupt anything that's going. So
Right.
I'm sorry.
Yeah,
Please
no,
finish.
that's fine. Yeah. And that's the thing. We got to get everybody doing it, though. You can't have a couple of people, playing defense. I mean, it's just, So, but yeah, you're right. Yep. So.
Well, as we move forward to tonight, is there anything in particular that we see? Can you give me a quick 30 seconds scattering report of what we're going to try to do tonight against Centennial?
Well, you
listening.
asked that question, and then they're right there.
Yeah, he's going to answer the same question.
I know, but still.
You can give me coach speak, man. Just give me the generic. Well,
okay.
we know that Chantel is long, and we're going to try to take care of her offensively, and Malia Robertson can score the ball. So, come on.
Well, you did it for me.
There you go.
You did it for me.
Come on, 10 seconds, go.
Like you said, we're going to work on locking down on defense, know where the shooters are, box out, give them 1 shot, 1 opportunity, push the ball up the floor, and offensively take better shots.
Coach?
Yeah. As I mentioned before, we got to stop the 3-point shot, and we got to handle the pressure.
And you are officially off the hot seat. See, it goes fast. Well, best of luck to you guys. You guys tip off tonight at Centennial. Independence Lady Eagles versus Centennial Lady Cougars. When we come back, we'll look at the guys' side of tonight's matchup. Welcome back to the Coaches Preview this week as we look at now the boys' side of the Independence Eagles versus Centennial Cougars showdown tonight. Jarrett Jones, Pete Freodden, no strangers to the show now. You are a seasoned veteran. Coach Freodden is a professional. We're going to let him do the rest of the show
That sounds good.
because he knows basketball and we just like to listen to him talk.
I need to
all
listen.
the time.
I need to listen to him.
Now, let's talk about it, guys. Coach, your team, man, up and down. I think it's a lot to do with youth. You're playing really good basketball, Coach Freodden. I know you want to be winning all those games, but you have to be comfortable where you are right now, I mean, you've beaten Brentwood, who was sitting in first place. You can beat anybody any given night. You've showed that. Right now, mid-state ranked Riverdale. You lose to those guys 58-55. I think we talked off air for a minute. Probably could have been a game that could have gone your way if you had a few things there. Did lose to Summit 64-59 this week, but you're sitting in a good spot right now in that 4 or 5 game. If it's played tonight, you and Summit will be playing to see who advances and who goes home. Now, I don't know how that makes you feel. You might, we've got a lot of games left, but let's talk about where you are right now with your team and the young Cougars.
Oh, I like my team. We are young, and when you have youth, you're going to go up and down.
That's right.
That's part of it. And in our district, anybody can beat anybody. Last time we played Independence, I've been where Jarrett is, but I'm gonna tell you, his team is really good, and they fight for him. And he's got one of the better guards in the league, and they can beat us, and they probably had a chance to beat us. One of his best player goes down probably when we play him at third place. And so that's just the way our district is. You have to have all parts of your game clicking when you're going to win in this district.
Coach, where were you? Remind us, where were you in this seat last year going into district tournament? Were you not kind of comparable to where Indy is?
Absolutely.
That's what I'm saying. Anything can happen, right?
We had to play I believe the 2 seed in Ravenwood, or maybe no, they were the 3 seed and we were the 6, and we went over there and had a big win. But you got to just be playing your best basketball at the end of the year, and anybody in our district can do that and make some things happen. So,
Coach Jones, Mac James, 32 points the other night, big player for you.
Right.
Obviously a household name around WCS, right? For the last couple of years. Big run that he had last year. Great season he had last year. Been on an injury, back, looking like he's going to get things going for you, get things turned around. How important is he to your program?
He's big. He's big. And finally feeling comfortable again. We've had him back since early January, but I think just getting back in his rhythm, finding his timing, figuring out where his teammates are going to be, and just getting his rhythm and his confidence back. It's been big for us. He's turned into a leader. He's a great young man and a really good basketball player. Now we just got to get those guys around him to kind of get back on the same page and make sure that they're being aggressive when they get their opportunities and putting them in better situations to help Mac out offensively.
You're sitting right now at 2-15, 2-7 in district play. Currently in 8th spot. Spring Hill's in 9th. We talked earlier too as well. We want to try to get, you want to get out of that 8-9 game. That way you don't have to play those back-to-back games and go in and play. Now, anything can happen. You get hot. You could, that could work into your favor. However, it would probably be favorable if you didn't have to do that. Right. But Page 57-52 loss this week. Take us through that Page loss. What are some things that are encouraging in that, and what things you got to fix?
It was again, as a coach, you feel like you're supposed to win every game. Page shot the ball really well that night. They came out hot, guns were blazing, and they shot the ball well that night. We had a lot of opportunities to kind of take advantage, get momentum of that game. Mentally, just mental lapses, just those simple mistakes where we miscommunications or guys missing the box out. Those little things kept us from kind of cutting that gap a little lower. And also, we offensively at times we got a little stagnant, and we got to make sure that for 4 quarters of basketball that we're all on the same page, focused, communicating, and giving that 100% effort mentally and physically to make sure that we can get over those hurdles that we have in front of us.
Coach Freodden, 10-9, 5-4 in district play. Talk about, same question to you as far as the Summit game goes. 64-59, we know that Summit poses problems on height. They have DeMonte Dixon, who's sitting at 6'9 plus, maybe, 6'8", 6'9". His younger brother, 6'6", got some size on that team. Jaden Lewis is a good guard. Talk about some things that you saw that you're going to build upon, and then some things you'd like to fix off that game.
Well, yeah, they're a good team, and Coach Goodwin's got them playing really well right now. Their length really hurt us. I don't know how many block shots they had, but it probably was a record. Trey really is aggressive to the basket for us, and he needs to make plays for us. But when you're trying to score over 6'9", 6'10", and 6'6", and it's hard, and it hurt us last night. And so, we don't see that length that often. But we need to understand how to address it and how to attack it and not go so deep and do some of those things. And it's just a learning process for us. But ultimately, I like my team. I think they, for the most part, have bought into everything that we've asked them to do. They play hard. They practice every day. I asked them, what do you need? You need a day off? They said, no. I said, I like you better now. Just trying to figure out, the mental makeup of our guys. And for the most part, they're really bought into what we've asked them to do. And so I'm looking forward to seeing if we can get over the hump. We keep talking about getting better. But at the end of the day, you need to win some of those games to feel like you deserve to win those games and not that you hope to win those games. And so we're kind of getting to the peak of that. We just have not gotten over that hump yet. Hopefully we can do that in this year.
Well, right now, 4 or 5 slot at Centennial Summit. You hold it. You've split with them. You beat them at home. They've beaten you here. So it's going to come down to these other games and see how this plays out. We've got so many more games, so many really good quality games that's going to mean so much coming down the stretch.
Right.
Looking at the schedule ahead, I know y'all don't ever do this, so I'm going to look ahead for just
You're
a
going to
moment
help us,
because,
so I'm sure.
because
yeah.
we just like to focus on tonight. But we don't crunch numbers. We don't look ahead either. So we're going to look ahead. All right, so after tonight's game, you've got Page, you've got Dixon, you've got Franklin, Spring Hill, and both Brentwood and Ravenwood. That's not an easy schedule.
No.
Now, there are some definite wins out in there. I think Dixon right now is one of those teams that we talked about. They can beat anybody any given night. Spring Hill struggling, that should be a win. Those kind of games as a coach always scare me most because those are the games you should win, and your kids always kind of come in lax sometimes. You don't know. But who's the team right now? Is the Battle of Franklin, is the Franklin game, is that the one that gets the kids that circle on the counter and say, all right, this is the game? I don't have to say a word that night.
It's funny you ask. When I first took the job, I said, who is that team that everybody goes, ooh, they are, here they are when they walk in the gym? And all our kids said Brentwood at the time. And I think Brentwood is still that team for us, but for our school. But at the end of the day, right now, I think Franklin is playing the best basketball from what I've seen. And they're going to be hard to beat. They score the ball so well that, you've got to try to match them scoring-wise because you're not going to just hold them down. That's not going to happen.
Well, you mentioned that Coach Joins and the Rebels got their 12th consecutive win this week, looking for number 13 coming into tonight's game. Brentwood obviously sitting on top 9-1. They're sitting at 8-2. I think a 2-loss team would be, I'd take 2 losses right down this district and feel really good about it and try to get out of Dodge. Don't know that two losses may not even get it. I mean, it may even come down to 3 before it's over with. Same question to you. What about Independence? What is that game they think, man, this is it? I don't have to say a word to them. Is it potentially still Summit game?
It's Summit for us still.
Yeah.
That's still just that close rivalry game. The guys, they know that the practice before the game, when it's building up, just in the school, the building, you can feel it coming. And I think for us this season, that was one of those games we lost in overtime to Summit, but you could just feel a different focus, a different energy from the guys throughout the game, throughout the week, preparing for the game.
Well, those events, and I call them events. Battle of Franklin, Border Battle, man, you want to talk about some great atmospheres and what that brings to it. And I think it goes to play, too, that our basketball's been really good. It's been well attended. You remember last year, you were at Fairview last year, but last year when we had that district tournament at your place, what an atmosphere that was from the starting game to the last game. And, we had to fire marshal out a couple games and let people leave before they could even go in. So I think basketball-wise for us and WCS is in a pretty good spot. It's probably better than it's been in a while. We put 2 teams in the state tournament last year. I hope we can duplicate that again. Only time will tell. It's really tough to say, and you both have played out of the conference, so tell me, how good is our teams? Can we really get out and make some noise? You've played, like I said, you've played Riverdale. Your schedule was brutal. You've played Brentwood Academy, Riverdale. Your East Nashville game was canceled, which would have been arguably the best team in the mid-state right now. And you've seen East Nashville, Stratford, those teams. How good are our teams right now?
I think our teams are good. When you go to Memphis, it's another level.
It is.
I just say that. But in the mid-state area, I don't know. There's not a better district in the mid-state. Top to bottom, our teams could go, we probably need to do that. We probably need to cross-match some districts and see how we would do against a district, a 9 or somebody like that, and see. But I think our district is very good. Now, can you go outside of this area and compete? And that's always been the struggle for Middle Tennessee is can they go down there in Memphis and and get some of those Penny Hardaway teams.
Well, the funny thing that you mentioned that, did you see the state rankings this week? Who they got number one? They got Baird number one at 22-1, right? And I'm thinking
I'd put some
Baird,
money against that one.
and it got Memphis East as number 2. Now, we've all seen Memphis East play, and Bearden could take everybody in Knoxville and West Tennessee and make an all-star team and still not beat Memphis East.
It's gonna be tough for them. That's a juggernaut of a high school basketball team at Memphis.
They're really good.
That's impressive.
But back to the more important thing, can we advance? Can we get out? I mean, you know, the first name that always comes to mind in the forefront when you start talking about AAA Middle Tennessee basketball is Blackman, right? Blackman's undefeated. Barry Wortman, the job he does, and no questions asked. Track record's there. But the other Rutherford County teams, I've seen, you know, Oakland at your place. They're not. It's not like they're world beaters, and it's not like all these other teams that we've seen. And so I'm thinking when it comes down to matchups, when we get out of region and we get, you know, obviously we match up with the metro teams in region. Hillsboro's got a little bit of size, but they've been getting beat. And then you've got Cane Ridge is always one of those teams whom y'all. I mean, y'all got like a little rivalry going the last couple of years. It's been really fun to watch. So it's hard to tell how good we are when we get out. Until we get out.
It is difficult, but one thing I think the district does a great job of preparing you for the other teams. The teams we play outside of district sometimes tend to be a little more athletic, a little more lengthier play, a little faster pace. But in our district, we have a good mix of well-coached teams, and that you have to prepare for, that you have to really get your teams ready for. And I think that helps you going in. Just you've seen a lot of different defenses. You've seen everything you need to see to prepare you for those games. And
I think that's the key. I think that's the thing that people don't understand is from top to bottom, our coaching staffs, there's no cakewalks. We're not walking in thinking, I get a night off tonight because they don't know what they're doing.
No, we were talking about that. Yeah, we were talking about that with our staff the other night, and you know every game they're going to be prepared for you. You know, now you better be prepared for them, but you know they're going to be prepared for you, and they're going to take away certain things, and you better be ready to do something a little bit different to be successful.
So 30 seconds each, scouting report for tonight. What do you got to do? Keys to winning.
We got to put together 32 minutes of focus. You know, their guards, it's Trey and the number 11, Dusty. They're long. They like to get to the rim. We have to do a better job of keeping them in front of us, making them take tougher shots, cutting them out in transition a little bit. We have to limit their streaks. Unfortunately for us, we can't score in bunches. And he's got a group of guys that when they get rolling, they can score in bunches. And if we can kind of limit those scoring surges that they have, hopefully that'll give us a chance to match them offensively. But
keep the guards at bay, because when they get in there past the first level and kick out, you got Hayden Pearson waiting to kill it, and then you've got all those other guys as well. So
last time I think I watched them shoot too many free throws. So hopefully our guards do a better job of just keeping them on the perimeter and stop fouling.
Coach, what are you gonna do with Mac James?
Yeah, we can't do anything. He passes, catches, shoots, dribble. I mean, he's probably as fundamental a guard as in our league. He can do everything, and so he's a challenge for our defense, and we'll try to guard him with 2 or 3 people, and we'll just see how it comes out.
Well, it's going to be fun either way. Tip-off tonight for the girls is 6 o'clock. This game is at Centennial. 7:30 boys to follow after the girls matchup. Let's look real quick. Brentwood High School versus Indy. Spring Hill winner if the tournament was tonight. Franklin Page, Ravenwood Dixon, and Summit Centennial. Those are some great games. And that's do or die games. Think about that. So, well, thanks, guys. Thanks for coming. Best of luck tonight. Thank you for joining us for the Coaches Preview Show. We'll see you next time.
You know the most important lesson you can teach your kids about playing sports is concussion signs and symptoms. After a hit to the head, if they have any concussion signs like blurred vision or headache, they need to stay out of play until they're checked by a healthcare professional. Play safe when it comes to concussion. When in doubt, sit them out. To learn more, go to cdc.gov/concussion. This is the other thing you can teach them. Comes in handy.